This team claims that they won the first ever FIFA Club World Cup. In my mission to tell football stories from around the world, today we begin a series on every non-European team at the 2025 Club World Cup. And I'm hoping this series is successful so I can get invited to go and do content in America. And today we start with Palmeiras in Group A. And boy do they have a story. After Brazil hosted the World Cup in 1950, they wanted to do the same 1 year later, but for clubs. So the Brazilian Football Confederation set on organizing the World Champions Cup, which eventually was known as the Copa Rio. The initial idea was to get 16 teams, but logistical challenges meant that only 8 teams participated. 2 Brazilian teams, a Portuguese team, and clubs from England, Italy, Spain, Sweden, and Uruguay. The latter being the best performing nations at the 1950 World Cup. But many of them declined, and we only saw teams from France, Austria, and Yugoslavia join. A team from Italy did participate though, but it wasn't then current champions Milan, but the champions of the previous year, Juventus. They would end up qualifying for the semi-finals of the Copa Rio alongside Palmeiras, who they had thrashed 4-0 in the group stage. In the semi-finals, Palmeiras beat the only other Brazilian team in the competition, Vasco da Gama. Meanwhile, Juventus picked Austria Vienna's spot in the final. And in the final, Palmeiras would get their revenge on Juventus, beating them 1-0 in the first leg before holding on to a 2-2 draw in the second to be crowned Copa Rio champions in front of more than 100,000 fans. The Brazilian press initially considered them world champions, but soon after some cracks started to emerge. It was not organized by FIFA, so it doesn't count. Even though there were FIFA representatives there, well, they just invited European teams and had no official role. And the best teams in the world didn't end up participating, so is it really a world championship? But when the actual FIFA Club World Cup emerged in the 2000s, Palmeiras' fierce rivals Sao Paulo and Corinthians actually won that competition. And so the jokes started to emerge. Palmeiras não tem mundial. And so Palmeiras sought verification. They prepared a vivid document describing to FIFA the details of the 1951 Copa Rio. And in 2007, then FIFA Secretary General Urs Lindsay sent a letter to the CBF confirming indeed that Palmeiras are the first ever Club World Champions. However, Sepp Blatter at the time said the matter was still being evaluated. But around the time of the 2014 FIFA World Cup, Jerome Valcke and Sepp Blatter actually confirmed it. Palmeiras, first ever Club World Champions. But it did not end there. So what happened in 2017 was FIFA issued a statement saying that while we acknowledge that this was the first ever worldwide competition, the only real world champions are champions of the Intercontinental Cup and the FIFA Club World Cup. Rival Brazilian clubs rejoiced at this news. Palmeiras suddenly doesn't have a world championship. But then Sepp Blatter, after he was ousted as FIFA president, said this: Palmeiras are the first club world champions, full stop. But now, whether you consider Palmeiras the first ever club world champions or not, you cannot deny the importance of this competition back in 1951 and how it sowed the seeds for the biggest ever Club World Cup that we're about to see in June 2025. I'm Fayyad and I hope you enjoyed the story, as next up we've got Al Ahly from Egypt.